Hey everyone, welcome back to Art with Chrysalis. This week we're looking at famous artist Gustav Klimt. I'm Haylee, this is my kitchen, it's also my studio, and together we're going to do a drawing where we're going to look at one of Gustav Klimt's famous paintings, and we are going to draw part of it, and then there's going to be a special part 2, which I will reveal later in the video. So this is a painting by Klimt of Adele Bloch-Bauer, who was a famous socialite, a very wealthy woman that he painted during his time. This is also a really great example of how Klimt used gold leafing. Gold leafing is a very, very thin sheet of gold which can be applied decoratively, and it can be done so in painting like he's done here, and he's used it for both the background and for part of the figure. Klimt only used gold leaf for about 10 years out of his entire career, but it's something he's very well known for. So we're going to be using this today as inspiration for our project, and we'll be using the designs he uses in the background as a jumping off point for creating our own designs later. So we actually have a photo of Adele Bloch-Bauer. This is what she looked like. And if we take some time to look at her, you notice she's a very tall woman. She has a very long face, and her eyes are very soulful but also a little tired looking. And then if we flip back to the painting, you can see how Klimt has captured that. So pay attention to how long her features are and how long her face is. Overall, this is a fairly busy painting. Klimt has added a lot of detail in the background through adding pattern and shape, and it can be a little confusing to look at. However, if we simplify that and we remove all of the pattern, as I've done here with this image, you can see that most of the focus is on Adele's face and her hands. So, for materials, we're going to start off with using pencil crayons. And as you'll notice here, I have a range of warm colors like yellow, peach, pink, and a little bit of red, and that'll be for the skin tone. Then we'll be moving into cooler colors like black, blue, and purple, and that'll be for adding shadows and also drawing into her hair. We'll be working in our sketchbooks or on any paper that you have available to you. Then, once we're done drawing Adele, there'll be an optional second part of the project, and for this you'll need colored paper, a black marker, a glue stick, and scissors. Alright everyone, so now we're going to get into drawing, and as I mentioned when we were looking at Adele's photo, she has a very long face. So I'm starting with an outline of her face here, and trying to make sure that it is a little longer than how you would normally draw most faces, because Klimt really elongates that in the painting, and we want to express that as well. Her hair has a really interesting shape. It's almost abstract. And Klimt has done it in a very simple way where it's all one color. So now that I've completed most of the top, and I'm done with the shoulders, I'm going to lay out where the hand should go. At this time, I'm not going to worry too much about details and instead focus on their size and shape. If there's a really difficult area that you're trying to do in a drawing, sometimes it's helpful to think about it as a shape first, rather than worrying too much about the details, so that's what I'm doing here. When it comes to drawing faces, I like to start with the eyebrows, and that's because I find that it helps me center the other features on the face. Once the eyebrows are down, it's easy to draw in everything else. Adele has a very long nose, which I'm adding in here, and then she also has this beautiful half smile for her mouth. So her mouth is very relaxed, it's slightly open, and then at the corners it curves up into that little smile. She's also a bit tired looking, so while I'm drawing her eyes, I'm trying to show that she's looking directly at the viewer, and there's just a small glimmer of light in them which we'll add in later. Like I said earlier, Klimt doesn't add a lot of detail to Adele's hair, so I'm taking my black pencil crayon and filling in the entire area that I outlined earlier. With this light blue pencil, I'll be adding some shadows to the face. Here you can see that I'm using the red to add a bit of a blush to her cheeks, which you can see in the original painting, and then I'm complementing it with a bit of pink, and then also coming in with a peach tone for her skin. I want to add more depth to some of the shadows I created earlier, and to do that I'll be adding this purple color, which will define the face more, and I'm going around the edges to add more to the shadows that I created with the light blue. Alright, so now it's time to work into those pesky hands. I'll be using the shapes that I laid out earlier to help me. And what I'm doing is I'm looking very closely at the painting by Klimt in order to add some fingers in. The right hand is overlapping with the left hand, and that's what makes this so hard. So if you're having a hard time with it, it's okay, just take your time and do it slowly. I'm feeling pretty happy with this drawing as is, so this will be the final image for that. And here you have a choice. Either you can continue drawing in the background with pencil crayons, using the original painting as your guide, or you can follow me to part 2 and you can try a different project which involves collage. To begin part 2, we're going to cut out our drawing, so grab your scissors and cut around the edge of your drawing of Adele. Try to add as much detail as possible by cutting in close, but make sure it all remains one piece. Now I'm going to grab some colored pieces of paper and my scissors. If you don't have colored paper, that's okay, you can use white paper. If you do have colored paper, you can choose whatever colors and shapes you'd like. You can change the size, you can change the shape. The more you have to work with, the better. Alright, so once you've finished cutting out all of your shapes, you can put them aside and start to think about what drawings you would like to do on top of them. Looking at this painting of Adele by Klimt, you can see he's used a lot of swirls, circles, triangles, and even some eye patterns inside her dress. And what designs you'd like to use are completely up to you. You can use Klimt as inspiration, or you can do designs of your own. Once you're happy with all of the designs that you've drawn on your shapes, you can put them together on a page. Now, the page can be colorful like mine, or it can be white, whichever you would prefer to use. And you can play around with where you put the shapes. You can bring things forward, you can put them back, try a variety of arrangements until you're happy. Then, once you've decided on your final composition, you'll take your glue stick and you'll start to glue your shapes down. Dun da da da! Here's the final collage. So I'm fairly happy with the composition, which is where I put all the different shapes. I did leave parts of the background blank, which I may fill in. If you look at the original painting, it's very busy. There's not really very much space that doesn't have detail. So in order to keep true with that, I might add more designs in the future, but for now I'm going to leave it like this. Alright, so thanks for joining in with me this week to do some collage. I hope you have a great week. Keep drawing collage. We'll see you next time. Bye!